Well, hey folks, my name is Brad. Welcome to a Green Mountain vlog. Now, if you happen to be new to my channel, typically I am publishing metal detecting and treasure hunting videos every single Friday morning. But in the wintertime, unfortunately, I have to reduce that to every other week with videos like these on the off weeks. These videos typically include just adventures with my friends and family, usually things I'm up to down here in the workshop. And if you are new to my channel, well, you have just joined on at one of the weirdest times in this channel's history. As I'm filming this, I am just coming off of the 5-week treasure hunting miniseries, Grave of Gold, which was my very first attempt ever at producing something totally fiction. Well, it's not totally fiction. The history of Oliver Perry and his tavern and all of the ghost towns was all totally true, but my and Eddie's adventure through that was all scripted and fiction. And immediately following the finale, Eddie and I did a live stream where we talked about all of the behind the scenes stories, funny things that happened, of course the bloopers and the outtakes. We actually mentioned a couple things that we never came back to. One of those was the true story of Oliver Perry and his tavern. I was going to make a video about that, and I actually had hoped to post that today, but unfortunately it's going to require a lot more research and work than I had originally anticipated. So that's going to be coming on down the road. And the other thing was deleted scenes, which there are a few of, which I will show in today's video. Now, I also have a box of props that I have not gone through since we shot. It's totally messy, and we're going to go through that together and pick out some of the stuff that I'm going to throw away and some of the stuff that I'm going to save. And I don't know, maybe some of you folks might be interested in some of this stuff, and maybe we'll give it away. We'll have to wait and see. And lastly, during the series, when that series was airing, my friend Chris and I actually went all the way down to Pennsylvania, invited by our new friend Quay. He brought us around metal detecting for 2 full days, and we did a bunch of filming, and we found a bunch of awesome stuff, some old coins included. Now, I'm editing that video as we speak. Those coins need to be cleaned up so that we can hopefully read dates, take some pictures of them to put in the video, and I realize I don't think I've ever actually made a video cleaning coins. So we're gonna do a little bit of that at the end as well. Hope you enjoyed today's vlog. Let's go take a look at some of these deleted scenes and maybe why they were deleted. All right, these deleted scenes. Now, when I first started making metal detecting videos, I had absolutely zero video making experience. I don't even know if I owned a real camera that could take videos. As time went on, I really kind of fell in love with that part of it. I started to be able to appreciate cinematography and TV and movies. And when this idea of making a fictional show started to be floated between Eddie and I got so excited to be able to set up multiple cameras for multiple camera angles of the same scene, do all the lighting and the color grading. It was just so much fun. And now this first scene that I'm about to show you was the first attempt at that. It was the first time Eddie and I sat down, I set up multiple cameras and all the lights, and it just did not turn out the way that I wanted it to.
So you think this treasure actually exists?
It has to, because we can't have another series where we don't find the treasure at the end. And we certainly can't afford hiding another one. So,
I agree.
I hope so. How's the house hunting going, Eddie?
It's been a nightmare.
It's a nightmare?
It's going terrible. Houses are so expensive. House after house, we can't afford. We can't even hardly get into a showing. It's just been a waste of time.
Well, when we find the treasure this week, it's all yours, because I was just looking at the analytics for my videos and it has been abysmal the last year or so. And if we find the treasure, all I want to do is film us finding it, because like this series, if it doesn't do well, I might just not make videos anymore, because it's just too much work for not enough return. So when we find it, it's all yours.
I could really use it.
The writing was terrible. Eddie and I, not only are we not good actors, but I wouldn't even call ourselves actors. We're just doing our best. But that was not well done. Things like our complexions were almost the same as the walls behind us. It made for a very weird looking scene. So we ended up redoing this. This was the end of episode 1. Now, when we redid that, we actually filmed another part of it, which we removed. I had thought initially when I wrote this that it would be good to kind of add some tension between Eddie and I, right? And that kind of pops up in episode 2 when Eddie accuses me of putting the tracker on the car myself. And I kind of wrote this in to kind of lead up to that, but in the end it didn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Well, it looks like we got a little bit of daylight left. You want to head to the first location, poke around a little?
I like that idea, but I really want to make sure all of this episode 1 footage is like perfect and polished, and we might actually need to do a few more takes. So I think that maybe we leave that for tomorrow.
All right, well, I'm going to run out and grab a bite to eat then.
Actually, I think that now that we're here in Bennington and we have like some credible locations to check, like maybe we shouldn't split up from this point on.
What? Seriously? Like you mean in case I go out looking for it without you?
I mean, I didn't say that, but it's potentially like a ton of money. And I think that it would just make me feel better and probably make you feel better if we just, you know, kept both of us honest and just stuck together the rest of the trip here.
Whatever, I guess so.
All right, thank you. But I love the way it looks. The lighting and everything is great. And this is really the last deleted scene that we filmed and that was in the video for a while and then I ended up taking out. And it is the original ending, alternate ending, right? Originally, Eddie and I have a conversation after I find him in the woods. Originally, Perry was going to give him this gold coin. It was going to be proof for me that Eddie actually did go to Perry's Tavern. Or why else would he have this, right? And so he hands this to me, says, "Oh, you wouldn't believe me if I told you," and that was going to be the end of the series. But as we watched this over and over again, the acting is just so bad. Trying to act confused and excited to see each other and scared, we just couldn't do it, quite frankly. Plus it was sleeting and it was getting dark and we were rushing and the actual cinematography was not very good.
Brad, it's you. It's really you. I lost my glasses. He's chasing me. He's out here. Have you seen him? Have you seen him?
Have I seen
He's
him?
out here. Hod, he's Henry McDowell. He's trying to kill me out here. Do you have a weapon? Are we safe?
Listen, you've been out here a long time, buddy.
What?
You're probably hallucinating a little bit delirious.
What? No.
Where have you been?
I don't think you'd believe me if I told you.
Let's get you out of here. So we reshot the ending where there was an undisclosed amount of time passed and then we could sit down calmly and talk to each other, right? The craziness and the excitement had died down and now we can have a conversation. And that gave me then the opportunity to write in some more script where nobody believes Eddie's story and then he presents the note and the setup for series number 2 to be the proof that he did actually go to Perry's Tavern. So those are the main 3 deleted scenes that were in the episodes for like months, and then we rewatched them numerous times and we're like, this is not good. We have to take these out. All right, let's go take a look at these props and go through them, for me, probably for the first time in over a year. All right, so here are 3 scripts for the last scene with Perry for Corey and Eddie and I. The infamous photo that's picked up by Hod at the end. This is Hod's eye patch. Now there were actually more scenes that I filmed with this. I forgot to show earlier. Chris wore this for us as Hod. Initially I showed a shot of him as Eddie's walking away and he grabs the axe. but you could tell it was Chris too much, so I cut that out. And actually, funny story, when Chris and I were trying to film that, there was no snow. There's snow in the scene, but there was no snow on the day that Chris was free. So we had to travel to a nearby pond that was iced over and looked white, and try to put that in the background while filming Chris. It was kind of a fiasco, and it took all day, and we didn't end up using that footage anyways, but I did make the eye patch for Hod, and it's fastened with a binder clip. Of course, the infamous journal that I find and all of the newspaper articles, which actually I don't think we filmed at all, but I did print them out and do my best to make them look like they are printed on actual newspapers. Of course, the ending prop, and the inside is all gibberish. There's not actually any content of that. So the journal here, the content of this is actually all gibberish as well, with some images included. Got the stacked stones. Nobody picked up on this. This is the Trelawney badge symbol there, Harold Trelawney. And as I mentioned, this is all just cursive nonsense. And then, of course, my handwriting. The hat that I wore for the whole series, and I ended up getting a new hat for the last episode and on to show that some time has passed, right? So that's the original. Seeker of Truth book. This comes in limited supply. I don't think he's making those anymore. I think these are all scripts, and they're all dirty and folded. This one actually has a dead bug on it. Because we brought these out into the woods with us, of course. This is the Fayetteville Day. This is from the library with John, aka Dewey, which, by the way, that was his idea. John coined the name Dewey. We weren't even going to have a name for the librarian, but he's like, it needs to be Dewey, so we agreed. The treasure trove permits, and our friend Dan Thompson. It's an Easter egg for DeGrau. We'll let people figure out what that Easter egg is exactly. Treasure trove permit, special use application from the Forest Service. We made this casino sign for Lake Casino, which actually we weren't actually able to find any information on. It has a new name now. I know the pond that they were referencing, but I can't find any other references to it being called Casino ever. But it was in the newspaper article, so we made this sign as a little bit of foreshadowing that Eddie is getting close to the tavern. We went through 4 cans of this atmosphere aerosol fog in a can. Anytime we wanted it to be like creepy, we sprayed this into the air.
Oh wait, the fog.
Oh.
The fog! Fog this place up.
Dan's ring. This is actually my class ring, the high school that I went to. Here's the bag of money that was passed to the ranger. It is actually an envelope full of just wadded up paper. There's not actually any money in this. We have Eddie's broken glasses. So I bought these at the dollar store and broke them on purpose. And I wanted to have like a shattered glass effect, but it wasn't actually glass, it was plastic. So I put some shipping tape on here and put some lines in it to make it look like shattered glass, and then buried it and then dug it up again. And actually, Eddie had gotten new glasses from when we started filming the series. So when we filmed the reshot of episode 1, he didn't have those glasses anymore. So we bought some other dollar store glasses, and he like took them off quickly in the bathroom and then did the rest of the scene without glasses, because the continuity is important, right? These are the fake coins. I don't actually know where the fake coin went that was passed. This might actually be it, now that I'm thinking about it. That was passed to Eddie by Perry in the deleted scene. The leather bag full of Morgans. These are, actually there's still tree bark on them, leaves. These are mine, And I just took some out, some of the kind of lower value ones, the ones I didn't really care about getting jostled around. Put them in a bag. We had just tried to think about like what would be in like Grandpa's old silver collection, and Morgan's seemed like they made the most sense. So I took some out of my binder and threw them in a bag. I'll put them back in my binder now. We of course have the red jacket, which was worn by pretty much everybody. And it made sense in the context of wearing red in the Bennington Triangle, which is an established piece of the lore. And then of course the prop that I might be most proud of, the Perry sign. The image itself is actually AI generated, and then I blew it up, put it on a piece of wood. This is just printer paper that I then weathered with leather dye and smacking it with pieces of wood and trying to make it look old. And actually, after I've done some of this research on Perry to kind of prepare for this video I'm making, 1780 is not even remotely correct, but it was only shown for 2 seconds, so. And I think that's all the props. I don't know if there's necessarily anything in here that anybody would want, but if there is, let me know. Excluding the Morgans, of course. Those are going back in my collection. So I know cleaning coins is a huge taboo, and I do not recommend doing this to your high value collector's items. But these 4 coins I'm attempting to clean here are not worth anything monetarily. I just want to be able to see the designs better, and they all have this thick green crust. So I'm going at them with a product called CLR, which will dissolve that. But you have to go slow, otherwise it's going to damage the copper itself. This backside of this political token, this is actually an 1864 George B. McClellan campaign token. He was actually the failed opponent against Abraham Lincoln in 1864. This backside is beautifully gold-plated, and the verdigris is actually coming off easy on that side, but the other side is being stubborn. So I'm moving on to this fiberglass tipped pen to try to scrape some of that off. And here it is as far as I'm going to go with it. The back side looks nice. Unfortunately, the front side was never going to look nice, but it's as good as I can get it. You can see that there's actually a hole in it now. Somebody must have worn that around their neck. Moving on now to a large cent. My goal with this is just to see what the date is, trying to get that green off around the edges, and this backside is really, really bad. The fiberglass pen is not working, the CLR is not working, so I'm going to take drastic measures and actually let it soak in the CLR for 10-15 minutes and see if that helps. Moving on now to this large cent. I don't want to put this in CLR because I want some of this powdery verdigris to stay in the recesses to kind of show the image a little bit better. So that's as far as I'm going to go with it. Put a little oil on it to make the image stand out. We're going to call that done. And this is just a wheat cent, but I want to make out the date. So going at it with this CLR, it's not really doing much with the Q-tip, so I'm going to dunk that as well. Here they are out of the CLR, and I'm putting a product on them called Renaissance Wax. This is going to seal them and prevent more verdigris from forming. And sometimes it helps bring out the image a little bit, but unfortunately this large cent is very, very far gone, more than likely from fertilizer in the soil. Here's the campaign token. I'll display it this way out because it looks best. But again, this one was never going to look like new again. Here's the wheat cent, 1949. We can read the date, mission accomplished. And then the nicer of the 2 large cents, the 1800. Great bust. Didn't really have to do much to this one, thankfully. So if you're going to clean coins, I only recommend doing it on ones that absolutely need it. Thanks for watching. See you next week.